Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we're taking a close look at a company that's been generating a lot of discussion, Bitmine Immersion Technologies. The big question on many minds is Bitmine a good time to buy now? We've gathered some fascinating and at times conflicting insights from the latest available information. Our mission today is to unpack these details for you so you can understand the full picture. Before we jump in, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, please remember to subscribe, like, and leave us a comment. And, if there's a specific company you'd like us to look into next, just drop it in the comments below.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen sources presenting quite a, divergent view of Bitmine, from its strategic positioning and market leadership in one area to some really significant data deficiencies in another. Our goal today is really to help you navigate these different perspectives.
Okay, let's unpack this then. On one side, Bitmine has certainly been making headlines for some very aggressive moves in the crypto space. Here's where it gets really interesting, I think.
What's fascinating here is the narrative around its strategic positioning. Bitmine presents itself as the world's leading Ethereum treasury. And you see this reflected in their holdings. A staggering 2 million Ethereum, 192 Bitcoin, and $266 million in cash, which totals over, $9.21 billion in crypto and cash holdings. It's huge.
That's a massive reserve, and we've seen some big events recently pushing this, right?
Absolutely. In September 2025, Bitmine saw a significant stock gain, about 10.56%, following its new listing on NYSE American. Now, this listing isn't just symbolic, it provides direct capital market access. And crucially, the ability to issue shares without prior shareholder approval. That's flexibility. They also announced a $20 million investment in 8 co-holdings aimed at driving Ethereum ecosystem expansion, which, further cements their leadership claim in Ethereum reserves.
Right. This wasn't just a one-off, though. What about the months leading up to that? How quickly did this build?
So it built fast. In August 2025, Bitmine completed a massive $20 billion equity financing round.
$20 billion, wow.
Yeah. And a substantial portion of this cash was deployed pretty quickly to acquire nearly 200,000 more Ethereum, so essentially doubling their Ethereum reserves at that time. This period also saw the appointment of well-known crypto bull Tom Lee as chairman on June 30th, and that move seemingly boosted market confidence in Bitmine's long-term strategy, bringing in a big name.
So a lot of big names and big money flowing in. Seems like serious momentum.
Indeed. July 2025, that was a key month. That's when Bitmine really emerged as the largest global Ethereum treasury. Holdings surpassed 1.15 million Ethereum then, valued at over $4.96 billion at the time. They also expanded their at-the-market, offering, their ability to sell stock easily, from $4.5 billion up to $24.5 billion. That created a substantial war chest for future investment.
Oh, war chest, okay.
Exactly. And a strategic positioning, this massive treasury, it attracted high-profile investors, people like Bill Miller III, institutions like ARMOZ, AYX. That engagement contributed to shares soaring over 35.5%, crossing the $69.71 mark on really heavy volume.
Okay, so it sounds like there's definitely a lot of investor interest. But what's coming up? What could keep this momentum going, potentially?
Well, there are several potential catalysts on the horizon for you to watch. For September 30th, 2025, a Q2 earnings release is expected. That'll be closely watched. Then in October, specifically October 18th, we could see a potential ETF rebalancing event. Could drive inflows.
ETF inclusion.
Right. Then November brings a holiday crypto holdings report on November 4th, a snapshot of their assets, and an institutional buy window opening on November 13th, plus another Q3 earnings release slated for November 29th.
Okay, those are scheduled events.
Yeah.
What about rumors or less concrete possibilities?
Yes. There are also rumors circulating, which you always have to take with a grain of salt, but a possible Ethereum staking program that would generate recurring yield from their holdings. Makes sense.
Turning assets into income.
Exactly. Whispers of a potential acquisition by a major crypto fund, maybe seeing value in that treasury. Hints of a sort of moonshot venture investment into new layer 2 or maybe AI-powered Ethereum protocols. And even speculation about a share buyback or a reverse split to, stabilize price volatility after all that financing.
Interesting possibilities.
Yeah.
But let's connect this back.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, these positive sentiments, these catalysts, they exist alongside some really serious data gaps, transparency issues that, investors really need to be aware of. And it raises that important question. How do you truly evaluate a company when critical information is just missing?
Right. It feels like we might be seeing only one side of the coin.
Yeah.
So what does this all mean for someone trying to get a clear picture? What are the red flags we need to consider?
Okay, let's start with the fundamentals, or maybe the lack of fundamentals. Our sources show that current revenue figures, earnings data, margin data, it's simply not disclosed in the latest available official filings. We're talking the SEC Form 8K from September 8th, 2025, and the Form 144 from September 11th.
No revenue numbers at all.
Not in those filings, no. And crucially, there is no 10K or 10Q filing accessible for the 2024-2025 periods on a DRR or the OTC markets, at least as of September 13th. This absence of current audited financials, revenue disclosures, it represents a major transparency risk. It hits both value investors and momentum investors. You just can't gauge performance properly.
That's a significant piece of missing information, definitely.
Yeah.
What about its financial health beyond revenue, like debt, cash flow?
Similar story, unfortunately. Debt and cash flow data are also not included in the latest available filings. There's no balance sheet, no cash flow statement, no direct solvency metrics available in those September 2025 filings. We do know the Form 144 lists approximately almost 173.5 million shares outstanding, which gives context for potential dilution but tells you nothing about liquidity or debt insight.
Right, it's the number of shares.
Exactly. This lack of standard GAAP financials presents a severe limitation. You can't really assess solvency, liquidity, or the company's default risk profile with any confidence.
So it's hard to tell how healthy the company truly is from a financial standpoint. What about its place in the market, competitively?
Well, Bitmine positions itself in digital asset mining and immersion cooling technology. That's their stated focus. However, there is no recent filing we found that elaborates on its listing peers, its market share, or any kind of technology moat. The recent filings provide, well, basically no analysis or disclosure of business operations, competitive advantages, or who their principal competitors even are.
So you don't know how they stack up.
Precisely. Without this, it's frankly impossible to evaluate Bitmine's sustainable competitive positioning.
Okay, fundamentals are lacking. Financial health is unclear. Competitive position is undefined. What about technical analysis? Any signals there?
From the sources we have, there's a similar story. Insufficient data. The Form 144, the insider sale one, it references an aggregate sale value of about $11.9 million for 250,000 shares, which implies a reference price near $47.58 per share as of September 11th.
Okay, a price point at least.
A single price point, yes. But there is no actual chart data available in these sources, so specific support or resistance bands or measures of float-driven volatility, you just can't validate them. Furthermore, there are no disclosed technical indicator readings, things like moving averages, RSI, MSC, meaning the technical trend status is basically indeterminable due to insufficient data. You're flying blind on the technicals, too.
It sounds like a lot of unknowns, really. Are there any other recent news items that maybe add to this uncertainty?
Yes. While we discussed those potential catalysts earlier, it's worth noting an insider sale disclosure from September 11th, 2025. Bitmine filed that Form 144 for the proposed sale of 250,000 common shares. These were specifically executive compensation shares being sold by an insider.
How significant is that amount?
In itself, it represents less than 0.2% of shares outstanding, so not huge dilution from that one sale.
Yeah.
But executive sales, especially in the context of no current audited results, can raise questions about internal conviction, right?
Yeah, the timing looks a bit questionable when financials aren't public.
Exactly. Also, there is no analyst coverage or ratings referenced in the latest filings or public data we reviewed, and no reliable, verified social or retail sentiment data identified in the public record. An 8K from September 8th references a press release, but the full text and its actual financial or operational impact weren't published in the search results we looked at. Another gap.
So putting all this together then,
Right.
what are the primary risks for someone considering Bitmine? What should you really focus on?
Okay, the core risk, number one, is the severe lack of transparency. That's unavoidable. No up-to-date 10K or 10Q means a heightened risk of undisclosed adverse financial results or maybe structural issues lurking beneath the surface. The insider activity, though small percentage-wise, just adds another layer of scrutiny in this context.
Okay, transparency first. What else?
There's also a sizable dilution risk. With 173 million shares outstanding, even seemingly small blocks being sold can represent meaningful dilution potential, especially if the float is thin. And of course, you can't forget it's a pure-play crypto mining company. That means it's inherently exposed to substantial sector volatility, crypto swings wildly, and also macroeconomic volatility. It's a high beta play, almost by definition.
Right. So you've got this company making big waves with its huge crypto holdings, these strategic investments, attracting really high-profile interest. But at the same time, we're seeing these critical gaps in financial reporting and a real lack of transparent operational details. What should you, as someone trying to understand this, make of all this conflicting information?
It creates a very, very complex picture for you as an investor, a real puzzle. One perspective we found essentially rates Bitmine very low, like a 2 out of 10, citing those severe data gaps, the indeterminate technicals, the uncertainty around catalysts actually hitting, and governance or insider risk concerns. It suggests it's just not suitable for long-term investment given the lack of financials and the ongoing risk profile. Maybe only speculative for, ultra short-term trading and only for highly sophisticated traders who can maybe source independent data somehow.
Okay, it's a pretty negative take. What's the counter?
The other perspective really highlights Bitmine's unique leadership in Ethereum holdings, that massive treasury. It points to the aggressive capital moves, the strong investor interest, positioning it as a potential market mover, a proxy for Ethereum, perhaps.
Yeah.
However, even that more positive source explicitly notes that, quote, ongoing profitability challenges and speculative rumors add volatility and uncertainty to its near-term trajectory, end quote.
So even the positive view acknowledges significant uncertainty.
Exactly. It's not clear sailing, even from the bullish angle.
It truly highlights the importance of having all the information, doesn't it, to make properly informed decisions. And we really want to stress here that this assessment is based strictly on the currently available authoritative filings and data we could access as of September 13th, 2025. We are absolutely not making any investment recommendation here. We're just providing you with the key insights from the sources.
Ultimately, as a learner, maybe this situation prompts a fundamental question for you to think about. What is the practical difference between a company that simply holds a lot of assets, like Bitmine with its Ethereum, and a company that consistently generates transparent revenue and profit from its actual operations? And how does that distinction really shape your investment decisions, particularly in a volatile space like crypto?
That's a great point to ponder. And that's all the time we have for today's exploration of Bitmine. We hope this breakdown helps you understand the various facets of this company, the good and the unclear. Don't forget to subscribe, like us, and please leave a comment with your thoughts, or let us know if there are other companies you'd like us to discuss next time. Thank you for tuning in to Investing Talk Podcast. We'll be back soon with another detailed look at the market.